Good evening. Welcome to Fox 54 News at 6. I'm Kenesha Dees. We're learning more about an officer-involved shooting in Decatur that left a suspect injured back in November. The Decatur Police Department ruling it a justified shooting. On November 12th, a car failed to stop for a minor traffic violation near 12th Avenue in Decatur, according to police. The driver of the car eventually got out of the car and aimed what appeared to be a gun at the officer, prompting that officer to shoot the suspect, authorities say. Logan Alexandra Russell gives us the latest information from the investigation and the status of the officer involved.
Today, Decatur Police Chief Tory Mack announced that the officer involved in a shooting back in November has been cleared of any wrongdoing. Mack explained that the officer's actions were justified as the suspect took a combative stance. He says that the officer had to revert back to their training and no charges will be filed. The incident began on November 12th when an officer attempted to stop a car near 12th Avenue and 1st Street Southwest in Decatur. During the press conference this morning, they released the video of the incident. You can see here the driver initially refused to stop, driving at a low speed and through multiple stop signs before finally coming to a stop on 11th Avenue. The suspect immediately exited the car and aimed what appeared to be a weapon. Chief Mack says the officer fired after the suspect took what he describes as a combative stance. We now know the weapon the suspect was pointing was actually a BB gun.
It was a replica of a Glock 19. It had a light laser combo. And then, yes, you could put someone out. But if you put yourself in the officer position at 8:30 at night in the dark, and you have this comment.
District Attorney Scott Anderson says his office has reviewed the evidence and concluded the officer's use of force was legally justified.
We determined that, number one, this officer was legally positioned where he had a legal right to be where he was. He responded reasonably to a threat that was made to him.
The officer has been cleared to return to duty. As for the suspect, officials say he's in good health but is currently being held on charges unrelated to this incident. In Decatur, Logan Alexandra Russell, Fox 54 News.
Chief Mack says the names of the officer and the suspect, along with the charges he faces, will not be released. Chief Mack also told Fox 54 the footage of the actual shooting will not be released out of respect for the suspect and his family. We have our eye on the sky from earlier today out from Decatur. You could see pretty blue, crystal clear, not a cloud in sight, but oh, it was cold. The bitter chill definitely crept in today, and we certainly can feel the chill in the air. Joining us tonight is Fox 54 Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Jordan, will that cooler air linger?
Oh, yes, it most definitely will. And it's to be expected this time of year, right? And if you've lived here for more than a couple of years, you probably know this. We're getting into the middle and later part of January. It's kind of when real winter typically settles into the Tennessee Valley. And it's going to be with us through the end of the month. And in most cases, that kind of winter air sticks with us through about the middle part of the month of February. If we can kind of get past Valentine's Day, we're typically done with the really cold air. So I guess this is just the beginning of what we're going to call real winter. We saw 36 degrees today at the Huntsville International Airport. Not only is that the coldest day so far this year, but it is the coldest day so far this winter season. The coldest day in the month of December was 39 degrees on December 30th. We saw 35 today in Fayetteville, 36 in Coleman. We saw 37 in Albertville. We saw 39 this afternoon over in Florence. The average high temperature this time of year, right around 52 or 53 degrees. Talking about a bit of a wind chill this evening. In many cases, it's beginning to back off a little bit. 32 feels like 28 in Russellville. 30 feels like 30 in Scottsboro. So the wind really beginning to back off this evening. And it's going to continue to do so, but it's still going to be a really cold night. We'll talk about it in just a couple of minutes.
Residents at a Madison apartment complex are on day 8 without running water, and now they're being kicked out of the complex altogether. The Sutton apartment homes off Shelton Road in Madison had their water turned off a week ago. Madison Utilities says it's because the property owners haven't paid the bill. Fox 54's Gabe Glassman now joins us live from Madison. Gabe, residents are now looking for a place to stay tonight, the coldest night of the year so far, I might add.
Yes, that's right, Kenesha. We're learning today that Madison Utilities closed the account for the property owners of the Sutton Apartments, and now residents are looking for a new place to live. MU tells us the reasoning behind this stems back to the property owners, Lauren Real Estate, late payment on the bill. MU's policy says that after 7 days, the account is, quote, able to bad debut. Now the water isn't coming back on. And I was able to speak to one resident who says the message is simple. We need help.
We need help with food, because it's hard for us to cook and wash dishes and stuff. We need people to donate, whether it's, pizzas or Subways or whatever. We need help with that too, because for the elderly too. And then, of course, if we get all this help, we're still going to need even more help with moving, because a lot of people are old, and like myself, I'm older, and my son is very sickly. And I can't move all this furniture by myself to a new apartment.
Now, Kenesha, residents are now scrambling to find another place to live. But in the meantime, they are still accepting donations while they're still trying to find a place to live. Donations can be left at the just outside the leasing office here. Live in Madison, Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Fox 54 has been combing through dozens of legal filings involving Lauren Real Estate Holdings, the owner of the Sutton apartment complex, and its founder, John Venetos. Cases that are playing out in Alabama state courts and in the federal court system. Take a look. 5 of the lawsuits we found in Alabama's court database are active, with another dozen resolved in recent years. They involve failures to make payments to creditors, such as a plumbing supply business, and a claim by the city of Huntsville that a Lauren complex on Gulf Road is a public nuisance. And open cases in the federal system include this lawsuit filed by the Federal National Mortgage Association, or Fannie Mae, alleging default on a loan of more than $77 million. And there's more, like a lawsuit filed in November by the city of St. Petersburg, Florida, alleging Lauren hasn't paid its water bills there. Fox 54 has reached out repeatedly to the company for a response, but we haven't received one. We're learning the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office assisted U.S. Marshals in the arrest of a man wanted on a sex offender registration and notification act violation. Authorities arrived at a home on Robin Hood Circle on January 8th in Fife, searching for Jonathan Johnson, who was wanted on a violation in Tennessee. Authorities arrested Johnson and took him to the DeKalb County Detention Center, where he awaits extradition. 3 people behind bars tonight after an attempted traffic stop led to a chase in Morgan County today. The Sheriff's Office says deputies attempted to stop a car driving on Bird Spring Road in Hartselle. The driver didn't stop, they say, leading to a brief pursuit that ended on Fowler Loop Road near Highway 157. The Sheriff's Office says multiple charges are pending, including drug trafficking and distribution. A bill passed in the U.S. House this week could help reduce mail delays in North Alabama. You may recall the USPS consolidated Huntsville's processing center, causing backups at postal locations across the region, including in Owens Crossroads. House Resolution 7006 would require USPS to tell Congress how the Huntsville consolidation is affecting mail service. The bill also requires USPS to review address and zip code issues. The Senate will now vote on the bill before it can be sent to the president to sign into law. Another House committee unanimously passed a bill offering free books to kids through the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. House Bill 50, sponsored by Representative Terry Collins of Decatur, would require the state to partner with local governments to split the costs of a program mailing free books to kids through Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. Collins filed a similar bill during last year's legislative session, but it didn't pass in the Senate due to time constraints.
So good to be home, with deep gratitude to the teams who got us there and back.
The crew has landed. Members of the Crew 11 splashed down after one of them required Earth-based medical care. More details on the mission ahead. Fears of UNA Marching Band's longest tenured director set to leave his post has left a lot of people unhappy. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo takes us to Florence to hear from them. A beloved member of the University of North Alabama's marching band now on leave, and the community is shaken over his sudden departure. Former and current band students taken to social media since the news broke, with several students, alumni, and parents reaching out to tell Fox 54 their thoughts. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo takes us to UNA to get to the bottom of this controversy.
Just 2 months after making headlines in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, the University of North Alabama placed its marching band director on leave. Now, students are worried, saying they don't know what the future of the program will look like. According to the students in the band program, Dr. Lloyd Jones has led the band for decades and is beloved by students and alumni alike. He personally recruited many of them, helping them with scholarships and working closely with them every single day. Students are speculating Jones chose to go on leave after the music department allegedly placed stricter rules affecting his ability to do the job. In addition, students say his wife lost her contract after helping to raise funds for the band's trip to New York City in November. Students in the band are protesting the decision, refusing to rehearse and sometimes not showing up to practice to show the university they want their director back. But they say the university hasn't been responsive to their pleas, giving vague answers and saying it's all a personal retirement decision. Some of those students tell Fox 54 how they're responding to the situation. Take a listen.
It is Dr. Jones' band, and that needs to be heard and stated. And we won't play for anyone else. We've made that very clear.
Students and alumni are still looking for answers. They had a meeting today with university staff, but it's still unclear if Dr. Jones will be coming back at all. In Florence, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
The University of North Alabama sent a statement of their own to Fox 54 saying Dr. Jones is still employed by the university. They say, quote, any workplace concern brought to our attention through the university's well-defined processes receives a thorough review in accordance with UNA policy, end quote. They added, retirement decisions are deeply personal and ultimately the individual's to make. Dr. Jones was placed on leave last week. It's unclear if the university will make a permanent change. We'll have the full story for you on Fox 54 News at 9. We're T-minus 1 day out for Trash Panda season tickets. Details on what's in store for the year ahead. And Jordan, while we're at it, how is our weather? We know it's frigid.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't at all feel like baseball weather across the Tennessee Valley, and I suppose it shouldn't. It's going to be a really cold night across the area, one of the coldest nights we've seen so far this year. We'll discuss it in a couple of minutes.
SpaceX Dragon, copy concurs, splashdown and mains are cut. SpaceX Dragon, it's so good to be home. With deep gratitude to the teams who got us there and back.
It's so good to be home. You just heard it and you saw it for yourself. 4 astronauts on a SpaceX crewed Dragon capsule in outer space are now back on Earth. You can see it here, the crew exiting their capsule after splashing down in the Pacific Ocean earlier today. They were originally scheduled to stay on the International Space Station until mid-February, but returned early after a crew member developed a health issue requiring Earth-based medical care. NASA says the affected astronaut is in stable condition, but needs tools that are only available on Earth.
We did make a decision prior to today, a couple of days earlier, that we were bringing the crew to a medical facility in the San Diego, off the San Diego area. And so the crew will stay there. They'll stay there overnight, and we expect to bring the crew back to Houston on Friday.
The early return marks an unusual disruption to normal space station crew rotation schedules. Officials at NASA didn't say what the medical concern was or which astronaut was affected. And you can watch the entire splashdown on demand right here on Fox 54 Plus. Download on your TV, watch for free. A local nonprofit is teaming up with the DeKalb County EMA to open a warming station tonight. The center will offer shelter and food services for those in need. Marked for Life Ministry says you must call ahead for entry instructions and the exact location. This is for safety and planning concerns. If you need a place to rest away from the cold tonight, you can call 888-789-4673. And as winter weather continues in full effect in the Tennessee Valley, Fort Payne Fire and Rescue has some important safety tips to keep you and your family safe. If you plan on using a space heater, remember that using it wrong can be dangerous. Firefighters say you should never plug space heaters into extension cords or power strips. And remember to give your space heaters at least 3 inches of clearance. For more winter safety tips, go to fox54.com.
Now, the Tennessee Valley's certified most accurate forecast from the Fox 54 Weather Impact Team.
Very, very picture perfect out of Madison today. I mean, it looks perfect, but to me, it did not feel perfect.
It felt nowhere near perfect. As a matter of fact, it felt rather imperfect. It felt rude.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe the cold. It just simply, it was rude today. Did you bundle up?
I did. I had to bring out the long coat. Yeah, and
How
the
about the hat?
boots.
Oh, the boots.
And
the
the
boots
gloves.
Wait.
I didn't wear a hat though.
What about a scarf? How about are you a scarf person?
I wear it every now and then. I mean, my neck is primarily covered. I think as long as the legs and the upper body are good, I'm good.
Then you can kind of deal with the neck up because it's only temporary, right?
Yeah, and I'm in and out, so I'm not outside in the elements too long. What about you?
I normally avoid the scarf, and I don't much care for wearing hats. So the hat is only if I'm going to be running and kind of forced to be out for a little longer, which in case anybody's curious, and you're probably not curious, but I'm going to tell you anyway, I did manage to do what I found to be a rather insufferable 3.5-mile run today. The sun in no way, shape, or form helped. It was only 36 at the Huntsville International Airport. Athens and Decatur saw 38. Florence saw 39. We saw 35 in Fayetteville. Albertville saw a high temperature this afternoon of 37 degrees. This is the coldest day we've seen so far this year. This is the coldest day we've seen so far this season. The coldest day we had in December was 39 degrees. And then we did have a 38-degree day in November. So January is doing exactly what January does best. Wind has really begun to back off over the last 45 minutes or an hour, so the wind chill, not really a problem across the Tennessee Valley. 31 feels like 30 in Decatur. That's not bad. 31 feels like 27 in Athens. Again, not bad. 28 feels like 27 in Fayetteville. We're going to maintain a little bit of a breeze as we head into the overnight, but the wind chill is not going to have a massive impact on how cold it feels. The air temperatures, on the other hand, those are just simply going to be cold. This is the potential to be the coldest night we have seen so far this year. At least we would likely tie for the coldest night we've seen so far this year. 24 is the forecast low in Huntsville. Other folks are going to be colder than that. I want to take a trip to the south, South Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, South Georgia, and then a little further down into the state of Florida. All of those folks are actually talking about a freeze warning as we head into the overnight. Starting Montgomery, it's going to be 25 degrees tonight, a forecast low of 31 in Mobile. And then look at this, Tallahassee, Florida has a forecasted low of 27 degrees. Back home across the Tennessee Valley, we're going to begin to warm up as we head into the morning commute. 33 at 8, 37 by 9, 37 degrees at 9 o'clock in the morning. Huntsville saw 36 as a high this afternoon. So we're already doing better tomorrow by the time we get to the later part of the morning. 42 by 10 a.m. 51 as we head into the afternoon. There is an opportunity for a little bit of rain. 43 on Saturday, 35 on Sunday, though plenty of sunshine both Saturday and Sunday. Only a couple of opportunities for rain in the immediate future, Friday, and then a small chance on Saturday. Probably going to end up taking that one out of the forecast. Better chance of rain by the time we get to Thursday of next week. Here's Futurecast as we head into Friday afternoon. Relatively quiet, but then some rain begins to build in once we get to the early part of the evening. Now, I think Futurecast is probably overdoing this a little bit. I think it's a bit too heavy with the coverage and the intensity. Regardless, I do agree with the timing, and it doesn't keep the rain around very long. 10:30, 11 o'clock at night gets a lot of this activity out of here. And this timing is going to be important because I want you to pay attention to the fact that it is still in the 40s. So whatever rain is still hanging around in the evening, probably only going to fall as liquid precipitation. 51 on Friday, 43, 35 Saturday, Sunday. We stick with the colder temperatures Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, 40, 35, 47 respectively. 50 degrees next Thursday, but next Thursday brings a rather healthy opportunity for rain.
Thank you, Jordan. And 3 basketball players with connections to Alabama are among the 26 indicted in a basketball betting scheme. Prosecutors listed Alabama State guard Sean Fulcher, UAB forward Bradley Ezeriro, and Montgomery High School alum and former Kennesaw State player Damon Robinson in the indictment. They allegedly schemed to rig NCAA and Chinese Basketball Association games. Authorities allege game fixers recruited the basketball players with bribe payments ranging from $10,000 to $30,000 per game. Players are facing charges including wire fraud. Calling all baseball fans, tickets for the 2026 Rocket City Trash Panda season goes on sale tomorrow. The team's 6th season kicks off on April 3rd and will feature 69 home games, 26 fireworks shows, and a schedule packed with promotional events for you to take advantage of. Find the promotional calendar and ticket information on our website, fox54.com. And we'll stay with sports. Nick, what's new?
Yeah, Kanisha, last night was a step in the wrong direction for the Auburn Tigers. We're going to recap their loss in Como next to sports.
Fox 54 Sports is sponsored by Alpha Insurance.
It was a discouraging loss after an encouraging win. Good evening and welcome to sports. It felt like Auburn's blowout win over number 15 Arkansas was a huge step in the right direction. It was without a doubt a top 2 win of the season for the Tigers, and it opened up a window of momentum with 3 straight unranked opponents next up on the schedule. Instead, what happened in the first of those 3 games was a step back last night. Auburn led by as many as 7 points in the first half, but ended up getting outscored in both halves and shot considerably worse than Missouri from both the field and the three-point line. The result was a 10-point loss, dropping Auburn to 1-3 in league play. And maybe the biggest indicator of regression is that Stephen Pearl once again talking about a lack of effort.
We have to be excited to play every single night and play with the same effort and energy we did on Saturday against Arkansas. And yeah, I don't know. We didn't have that same fire pregame that, and leading up today. I thought we had a couple of really good practices, but once we got here, I just didn't see the same intensity, the same focus, the same energy today leading up to the game that was needed to beat a really good Missouri team.
Auburn next in action Saturday evening versus South Carolina. This will be the 48th meeting between the Tigers and Gamecocks. Auburn leads the series pretty dominantly with 30 wins, just 17 losses. Tip-off from Neville Arena, slated for 5 p.m. on the SEC Network. UNA men's and women's basketball just underway from Florence and Jacksonville, respectively. We will see how they fare tonight at 9. Kenesha?
Yes, Nick. Coming up on Fox 54 News at 9 as well, residents at a Madison apartment complex officially disconnected from Madison Utilities. We'll hear from them about what they plan to do next. And you may recognize this man who's dedicated his life not just to mowing lawns, but also helping the community. We talk to Rodney Smith tonight at 9.
I'll be honest with you, I've never handcuffed an emu before, but they'll fit.
They'll fit. A Florida police officer caught a runaway emu last Friday. The St. Johns County Sheriff's Office wrote in a Facebook post, the large bird, quote, kicked several times using its large talons, ouch, and fled on foot recklessly. After a short chase, the emu ended up in handcuffs around its legs. Fortunately, the emu wasn't sent to jail and was safely returned to its owners. A wild chase of its own. I mean, I just can't imagine catching an emu.
I just don't understand why people can't have normal pets. It would avoid a lot of the issues here that we have with rogue
But
animals.
It's Florida.
Yeah. Well, yes, okay, and that's beside the point, because we expect these